Merry Christmas. Christmas is a time for families, but some families are so broken they can't find a path to wholeness without help. We're hoping you'll help us get Dr. Phil to heal this family. My husband has 2 sons who don't know him directly, only through the negative opinions of others. His sister has children and grandchildren who have little connection to her. The family patterns have to be broken. Please help this video go viral.
Hi, I'm Tom. I grew up in a house of horrors with a sister a year and a half older and a brother a year and a half younger. Our world was isolated and restricted, allowing my mother to brutally abuse us at will, both physically and emotionally. In my case, I was guaranteed to be beaten and emotionally abused for poor grades, struggling all my life with undiagnosed ADHD. Often my father would brutally beat me for the same reasons. In addition to struggling with ADHD, my motor skills have always been slow. I was last to be picked to play any sports activities, bullied for being weak, and rejected for my looks. I felt like Rudolph on the Island of Misfits. By the time I became an adult, I was damaged goods. For 25 years, I used alcohol to mask the emotional pain of PTSD, trying to fit into the world while affecting those around me in negative ways. After years of failed relationships and a lot of pain, I sought help. Today, I'm grateful for the many years of mental health that I have received. For 19 years recovering from alcohol addiction and for surviving many near-death experiences. To the best of my knowledge, my siblings have never sought mental help, content to keep a lid on our abusive past, all the while channeling their pain into influencing my life and innocent lives negatively. In an email when I turned 55 in April of 2010, my sister threatened to destroy my life, and since has deliberately gone out of her way to fulfill her promise. I don't know if her behaviors are criminal, but they have to stop. I feel absolutely violated, having personal and private info released just to humiliate me. I am a victim of a vigilante, crucified not by spikes and a cross, but by fear-mongering, with unsubstantiated physical and mental abuse in her quest to save the world from the abuse she suffered as a child. Every aspect of my life has been contaminated by my sister with the support of my father and brother. When I was being abused as an innocent child, I begged God for help. Sadly, no one came to my rescue. Today, innocent lives, mine, my wife, my 2 sons, my niece, and her 2 children, and my nephew, all are being negatively affected due to my sister channeling the pain of her childhood into our lives, living in denial. The 9th step of Alcoholics Anonymous is to make direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Little did I know working the program of AA would affect so many people's lives in negative ways. Here is a Facebook amends that I made with my niece's husband back in 2012. My self-centered attitudes and actions have affected many people in my life, including your family. My attitude and actions, along with everyone else, are influenced by the mentors in our lives. My parents were not close with their siblings, and thus we repeat the same behavior. Hopefully, I can change that pattern. I would like to say I am sorry and would like to be a part of your lives whatever you're comfortable with.
When my sister-in-law learned that my husband had contacted her daughter's family, she assumed that the intent of the communication was to undermine her relationship with her daughter. She renewed her efforts to wreak havoc in my husband's life, but her efforts to destroy our relationship started right after she learned that Tom and I were dating. She sent me a series of emails that detailed painful and embarrassing details of Tom's past, warning me to stay away from him, that he was a terrible person and would only hurt me. My efforts to get her to see that he was a changed man were unsuccessful. She insisted that I not let Tom know she was in touch with me, saying she feared for her life if he knew. I even went to dinner with Tom's family to try to mend the family fences. It was 2 hours of them telling me all the ways Tom didn't measure up to their expectations of him. It was shocking to discover the depth of their animosity toward him, and their refusal to consider that he had done anything positive with his life or had changed for the better in any way. When Tom's son contacted him a few months later, his siblings didn't even want to take calls from Tom, ecstatic that he was in touch with his long-lost son. When his son visited, Tom insisted that he visit his ailing grandfather, even though Tom was concerned about what his father would tell his son. True to the family dynamic, Tom's father trashed Tom to his son for the entire visit. About 6 months later, Tom made the amends to his niece, with his sister erroneously assuming it was an attack on her family relationships. That Christmas, Tom and I had the family over to celebrate the holiday and to continue to try to build a positive dynamic with the family. As she left, his sister turned to Tom and said, "I know what you did, and you should be grateful I didn't tell your wife." Tom and I were clueless. What was she talking about? Tom's brother professed ignorance, as did his son, in a phone conversation. Their advice was to just let it go. Later, Tom's family attended our wedding, even though we asked them to come only with a positive attitude. Tom's sister openly questioned the potential success of our marriage, citing Tom's previous failed marriages, and ducked in the wedding photos. How childish at best and how spiteful at worst. While Tom's son was in the area for our wedding, his sister did the unthinkable. She took her nephew to meet Tom's ex-wife. The topic of the dinner conversation was graphic details of his addictions, many quite embarrassing and humiliating. Any positive progress between Tom and his son was destroyed. On Father's Day that year, Tom's son encouraged him yet again to see his father. When Tom approached his father as he returned home from dinner with his sister physically assaulted Tom. She contacted Tom's son to pressure him not to press charges. At the court-provided mediation, his sister revealed her negative assumption regarding the amends, and also that she has been in contact with Tom's sons for some time. Despite the devastation of his sister's actions since Tom's sincere amends to his niece, Tom dropped all charges. In support of his aunt, Tom's son has severed all contact with Tom, even after being told of a life-threatening femoral hernia with gangrene of the colon that Tom suffered a year ago. This past fall, Tom learned more about the extent of the family abuse and reacted by calling his father a coward and a failure for allowing and participating in the abusive family home. His father, with his sister's help, filed criminal charges of harassment that have since been dismissed by the county attorney. The abuse within this family has to stop. Tom's sister has to stop interfering in Tom's life and especially needs to let his sons get to know him without her negative influence ruining any attempt at reconciliation. Dr. Phil, please help heal my husband's family. I admire this man for the love he has for two sons stripped from him 20 plus years ago. Not many men would travel 9 hours round trip to help someone he had just met and then continue on to spend quality time with the dying mother of his best friend. Tom has embraced the principles of AA and lives each day making a positive difference in his life and the lives of those around him. I am proud to love a man who has overcome so much, including 3 life-threatening addictions. Tom's effort to make an amends to his niece was misconstrued by his sister with far-reaching negative effects. Please help heal this family, Dr. Phil.
This message also goes out to Miss Oprah Winfrey, dear friend of Dr. Phil. On your last show, Oprah, you said all humans have a desire to feel validated. I have never been validated by my family, but this is not about me. It's about the innocent victims failing to be validated today. It's about changing family patterns for the next generations. I need your help in asking your friend, Dr. Phil, to help heal my family. To all that took the time to view this video, thank you. This is Christmas Day, a day of peace and goodwill to man. I pray that this is the last Christmas I spend without my sons. Merry Christmas from Tom and Fran.
Merry Christmas.
Please help this video go viral.